Hey, I'm Josh, and in this benchmark assignment, we're going to be discussing a movement impairment, and that's going to be knee varus, and we're going to be demonstrating that with a transitional assessment with my sister here, and she's going to be doing an overhead squat. So for an overhead squat, you're just going to make sure your feet are shoulder width apart. And she's going to put her arms up to her ears, and go ahead and squat. And as you can see here, her knees are going to move outward a little bit, and that's just knee varus. So what are some overactive muscles in knee varus? It's going to be your external rotators and your abductors. So specifically what we're going to be focusing on is the piriformis, but additionally to that, there's the lateral hamstrings, which are going to be tight, and the lateral gastrocs and soleus. And the weak muscles that are going to be underactive are going to be her adductors, and more so her medial gastrocs and soleus. The significance of this is people that struggle with knee varus are going to have problems with premature osteoarthritis. So the patella and the tibia, when it's in a varus position, it's going to be putting more pressure on that medial side, and those bones can articulate too much and cause for maltracking. And additionally, you can have people with anteversion or decreased hip stability because of the ball and socket is not in a stable position. All right, so for the first phase of this corrective exercise plan, we're going to be working on inhibiting those tight muscles, and specifically the piriformis. So what you're going to want to do is a strategy called self-myofascial release, and you can do this, the best known method is the foam roller. So what you're going to want to do for the piriformis, you're going to want to find that tight spot, and that can be used doing this position. And you're really going to kind of want to just roll until you find that really tight spot. So right about here, and you're going to want to hold that position for about 30 seconds, right on those that tight muscle area. And what you're doing is you're lengthening out those sarcomeres that are contracted and tight, and you're also inhibiting the muscle spindles that are causing for tight contraction. Once you finish about 30 seconds, this is a little less than that, then you can be done and move on to the next phase. So after you inhibit the tight muscles, the next phase of this corrective exercise plan is going to be to lengthen those tight muscles that you inhibited. So when we're talking about the piriformis, to lengthen that muscle, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to sit down like this and bend that knee over. But you're going to want to hold that position for about 30 seconds. And again, like the last phase, what you're doing is you're really lengthening those sarcomeres and trying to get them from a contracted state to more of a lengthened state. The next phase of our corrective exercise plan, what we're going to be working on is activating those underactive muscles. So specifically her adductors. And the way we can do this is isometric strengthening or positional isometrics. And in this strategy, what we're going to do is basically 4 sets of increasing intensity. So one set is going to contract at 25%, 50%, 75%, and 100%. And it'll look something like this. So I want to make sure and stabilize her at the pelvis. I'm going to have her bring her leg up, and she's going to move in an adduction position while I resist her motion. So the first set will be at 25% for about 3 seconds, and then relax. The next one at 50%. Relax. Now at 75%. Relax. And last one we'll do 100% contraction. Relax. And throughout all these motions, it's an isometric contraction. So no matter how hard she contracts, I'm keeping her leg in the same position. For the last phase of this corrective exercise plan, what we're going to be doing is working on integration. So after we've inhibited the tight muscles and lengthened them out, we've strengthened the weaker underactive muscles. Now we want to incorporate all these muscles together to get them working in a harmonious motion. So it's important when doing integration techniques that you first start with a wide base of support and strong stability, and then you can gradually work towards less of a base of support and lesser stability to work on their proprioceptive skills. Another way of doing this is working from more a two-leg functional standpoint to progressively going towards more of a one-leg. An example of this could be for knee varus. You could start with your overhead squat. Then you could work towards something like a single leg step up. You could then progress towards perhaps a weighted lunge. From there, the final one, you could do a single leg squat. And that is a corrective exercise strategy for knee varus.